So today it was announced that Meteos would actually be stepping down from his starting position as Cloud9's jungler, effective immediately, and that Hai, the now or formerly retired mid laner for Cloud9, was going to be coming in and substitute for him. This is a change which both sparks some frustration with me, but as well as a little bit of hope, and I'll be exploring those here why within the kind of like this little vlog. It's been a while since I've like put together a video content that's been like me discussing. I haven't really supplemented some of my articles with my writing with the video, but I wanted to do this today just to kind of talk for my own sake, get it out, as well as kind of piece together for some people as to why this is both a quite a dark change when you consider the historical context of Cloud9, but there is also some light for this tunnel, or rather more like the potential for it, and that may not ever be realized. So, the context of Meteos stepping down from Cloud9 is something that we should question immediately. Now, it has to be said that Cloud9, since Hai has left, has been having an incredibly rough time. However, while Meteos' own play can be criticized, there seem to me, and to other analysts who actively watch the games as well, there seems to be more of an issue than just Meteos. Incarnation, for example, hasn't been put onto champion pools, which he favors. To be fair, some of the assassins which he's known for, LeBlanc, aren't in the meta right now, so he's got to find his new pool to adjust with. But there's also, like, an issue with him, like, not adjusting to what a professional play is like, both in terms of atmosphere within the team as well as perhaps playing on the server. Because you have to consider this: Incarnation never went through the Challenger Series. He hasn't been able to participate within tournament realms before. Instead, he's just gone straight from solo queue into the LCS, so that can be quite a jarring switch in terms of both environment, of the atmosphere, and in the game environment. So he's struggling there. Furthermore, a bigger issue in my mind, okay, because I think the Incarnation issue will sort itself out at some point, is that Balls has been playing, or rather underperforming monstrously these last two splits. To me, for management to look at Balls and consider his performance and consider Meteos' performance, and then to say Meteos is the problem we should deal with first, is rather startling. And I don't know where their position is coming from it. I don't know how to question these decisions because I lack the inside info. We do have to consider that. So perhaps there is an issue where Meteos' chemistry within the team is affecting everyone's performance, and that's why they're doing this approach, which that does seem likely in a way. Now, we have to examine kind of like the press release statements coming out around this. So looking at what Meteos says in his statement. So the statement from Cloud9 says that given the League of Legends team's performance this split and carefully evaluating the situation, Meteos has decided it would be best for the team to step down as our jungler for Cloud9. So the team says that Meteos is doing this on his own. And Meteos further adds to the statement by saying, I think stepping back for now and letting someone else jungle will help the team atmosphere and keep Cloud9 competitive in the LCS. Okay, so this seems to be kind of an issue with team chemistry here, and the team says Meteos made this decision on his own. However, if we look at on his Twitch stream, not his, well, I should preface this first. If we look on Sneaky's Twitch stream, all right, the AD carry for Cloud9, what he says here, and this is quoted by the Score Esports report, it says, something about our combo 5 just didn't work together, and he's referring to the Incarnation lineup. Okay, so Hai is out, Incarnation is in. Honestly, like, Meteos, Sneaky, Lemon, Balls, Incarnation, it was never going terribly, but something didn't click. I think it may have been personalities just not being right for the team. Like, all of them clashed because when we had Hai, it was a super outgoing shot caller that knows what he wants to do and would, I'm going to guess it, he says, fucks you in the ass if you're not doing it. The article bleeps out the explicits, but that's what I'm guessing he says. But if without him, it's like no one really is there to fill the void. So we're kind of all headless chickens. So I don't know. I don't know if Meteos is out, but I think we're trying this. Maybe some other combo would work if Meteos still jungling. I honestly don't know. So that's his official statement on there. If you read between the lines on it, he talks about like something not clicking. And furthermore, when you look at kind of like how in past terms, okay, Sneaky has like organized the team structures as well. It's always been like the pairings of the team was Meteos and Sneaky, which is a reason why like they do queue all the time. And then it was Balls, High, and Lemonation. He stated this before. I wish I had the source with me right now, but I know it's a thing. So, and also if you look at it, you know, he talks about something that didn't click, the combo's not really working well, and he's like, I don't know if Meteos is out, but I think we're trying this. You know, so when you put it like that, okay, he never says things like Meteos is deciding to step on down. He doesn't know if he's out, okay. If there is that unsurety about it, that more suggests to me that the organization is saying, Meteos, you're going to take a back seat for a little bit. We're going to try this out. But you're going to be saying it's for your choice. Now, of course, the organization can be like, do you agree with this? Do you want to try this? And Meteos can agree to it, but is it Meteos' idea? I don't know. Is that really an issue? I don't think so. I do know that Jack is treats his players incredibly well. Jack, the manager for Cloud9. He'd do anything for them. I have sources that can confirm this, namely Jacob Wolf of the Daily Dot. So before any of you guys who probably hate on him clamor about anything, he's a good guy. He knows his resources. He's done a lot of good work. I trust his opinion. Okay. So it seems like the team is trying for this approach, okay? So reasons I don't like this. I mentioned before that I think Balls' performance has been more of an issue for that. And if it's an issue caused by, you know, perhaps a chemistry thing within the team, okay, maybe. But the fact that Balls has been performing both with High on the roster and without High on the roster, and it's still been pretty crappy, that's a huge issue that I think transcends any sort of chemistry issue going on that is not related to shot calling. The fact that Cloud9 is choosing to not address that issue, that tells me something, that suggests rather that it's rather frightening in which they're turning a blind eye to some of these issues. A blind eye which I think we can also, which is further supported when High examines his own career, how he'll always say like, oh, you know, I never really was that bad of a mid laner. Dude, you were feeding like nobody's business on a meta champion at Season 4 Worlds. Like, the fact that you can say that, okay, suggests that you're not aware of your own performance, but it also tells me one of two things. Either management isn't confronting you about that play and saying, dude, you're playing really bad and you're making these mistakes here. Or management doesn't see that either, and they're on board with you, like, no, you were really good there. The latter frightens me, the former I understand. I don't know what case it is. I can only make conjectures, and I will not say that either of those is true. So take all that with a grain of salt, please. This is simply to facilitate discussion, as well as voice my own thoughts. So, going back to the main issue before we went on the tangent, Balls is massively underperforming. I don't see why we're not addressing him first. Granted, Meteos' play can be criticized as well, but I think Balls' play is also a bigger issue with it. Furthermore, this is the part where it's more like just like the narrative of things, okay? How screwed up is it that Meteos, who we once considered back in probably Season 3, Season 4, you know, roughly that time, or, you know, he was among the names for some of the best junglers in the West, and even considered to be the best jungler in the West at a point in his career. How screwed up is it that he's being replaced by the mid laner he originally replaced on the Cloud9 roster for the jungle? You have to remember, Cloud9, before High began to play mid lane for them, he was initially their jungler in the Challenger Series, and then he moved to the mid lane after they brought in Meteos to jungle, and then they acquired the roster, which, you know, went through the Challenger Series, came into the LCS, and dominated everybody. The magical roster, you know. How screwed up is it that it's coming full circle, and now Meteos is being forced to step, or not being forced, I shouldn't say it like that. That's not a thing. Meteos is stepping down. I'll just say what's factually happening. Okay. Meteos is stepping down, and High is coming in. Okay, first off, the things that come with issue that is High's champion pool has always been pretty weak, and now while jungle is a less mechanically inclined position, there's still some mechanical play to it, okay? You can't say that, you know, landing a good Gragas ultimate isn't hard. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. It takes some skill to land a really good Gragas ultimate. Rek'Sai as a champion is pretty difficult to manage, at least, you know, probably for me, and my mechanics are probably shit, so my opinion could be completely routed from that. But there is still some issues with the champion pool, and if High struggle in the mid lane to develop it, how is he supposed to then transfer that into picking up the new junglers? Has he even been playing the new junglers here? Maybe, you know, investigation to solo queue account can suggest that, but if the team's just bringing him for shot calling, okay, but who knows how well that could go. And furthermore, it doesn't sound like, to my knowledge, his wrist issue just suddenly didn't go away. So even then, like, this isn't a permanent fix, and nor should it be. So until then, who knows what the status of the group is. But still, like, the narrative is pretty dark. That's like some sort of evil, just warped torture kind of a narrative there where, you have this jungler who comes on in, he's a nobody, does spectacularly, and then he gets replaced by the guy he originally replaced. Like, things have gotten that dark for Cloud9 that we're resorting to that base of decision making. Not to criticize it, because here is the ray of hope for it, okay? If Cloud9's issues are coming from the shot calling point, then bring him high back in, and seeing how that works is good. Honestly, at this point in the split, when Cloud9 isn't performing as well as they are, I think you do need to approach some kind of drastic change. Is this a drastic change to work? I am inclined to say no, but maybe it could work out. Maybe High can jungle decently enough to where he can keep up with the other junglers. Right now, it's not like NA is populated by some sort of spectacular jungle pool, and he's going to be completely wrecked in terms of that. So maybe like by bringing him for the shot calling and maybe his chemistry with the team or whatever issues Meteos has, maybe those will go away and the team will be able to function together and they could pick up a few wins. Maybe that will work. I mean, there is some feasibility to that. High shot calling has always been pretty great. Furthermore, with High returning to the team but not in the mid lane, there's less pressure on him to just get through the laning phase. Now, he's supplementing it. You still got Incarnation, whose laning phase seems to be improving slowly. Balls is still an issue. The bomb lane's as consistent as ever, at least in terms of sneaky. So, maybe this could work. This could be a change that does let Cloud9 compete competitively. Is this a change to make them, as magically competitive as they were at Worlds? No. Hell no. So, that's my thoughts on the High or the Meteos stepping down from Cloud9 conversation. It's something I just wanted to put out for additional thoughts into it. To summarize it, I think there's potential for it. I think it's when you're this pushed up against the wall, considering your history as Cloud9, then yeah, you got to try something drastic to see if it fits. I think they could target other areas first, but I don't know the insights that management has. Until then, I only questioned it from the information I have. It's pretty messed up. Like, the whole narrative, like, my brain has a hard time, comprehending it. Like, what in the world is going on right now? So, if there's anything that you feel like I missed on, or your own counterpoints to bring up, be happy to hear them all. Until then, thank you guys for watching this Mangaka Musing. I'll be signing off for some dinner.